But once I started to go there, I noticed everyone was not what my idea was of a private school. Everyone was themselves. They didn't, adjust themselves because it's just a private school. And then I realized Blyth Academy molds themselves to you. You as a student don't have to mold yourself to them.
I spoke with Emmanuelle Crites, who graduated from Blyth Academy in Ottawa in 2019. She credits Blyth for encouraging her to truly be herself, which has led her to the Singer-Songwriter program in the Faculty of Music at Carleton University. Thanks to Blyth's willingness to adapt to each student's individual needs and interests, Emmanuelle felt supported by the school, its teachers, and her peers. How do you think Blyth Academy prepared you for university?
Well, when I first went there, sorry, I'm French, so I might spell some things wrong, but
Okay,
when
I'm from
when I
Montreal.
okay, perfect. Well, there you go. I
Perfect.
understand that. But when I first went there, I came in mid 11th grade. So it was very different because I usually went to public schools, Catholic schools, and going there, I was really nervous, like private school, and the classes are smaller. So, and I was really surprised on how the teachers really, as being French, they really adapted their learning styles to mine and helped me like do essays in English, which I didn't know how to do. Um, and it wasn't, I remember in public schools, it was very like bland. They didn't really explain how to do the essays or presentations that was going to be useful in university, but Blythe really helped me do that more in depth. And so going into university, it was like really easy, and I had a lot less troubles than a lot of other of my peers in my classes. So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And how would you say that Blyth influenced your area of study? So, how did it influence you and encourage you maybe to pursue music?
well, one thing that I was really scared of, I used to go to a music high school before, but I decided to go into private school because I wanted more of the education part of it. I really wanted to learn more and not just focus on the bare necessities that you don't, I wanted more in-depth things. So going there, I was nervous that I wasn't going to be able to continue my music because it was just all school. So I remember going to my principal at the time and asking, hey, is it okay if I bring my piano and I get a classroom while the classroom's not being used, or during lunch hours, if I can use it and practice? And said, yeah, that's completely okay. And I also asked, we didn't really have extracurricular activities.
Mm-hmm.
Asked, is it okay if I maybe like start like a little choir with a small amount of people? And he said, yeah, that's completely okay. They really supported my creativity and let me expand on it how much I wanted with the oh my gosh, the support that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really good.
Nice, nice. That sounds great. Yeah, it's nice that they gave you the freedom to create your own type of extracurriculars. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'm curious if you were to come up with a resume listing all of your accomplishments, experiences at the school. Some of the extracurricular activities. I know you said there aren't many, but I was wondering, yeah, what that sort of resume would look like, just to give me a sense of what you were involved with at the school.
Well, definitely, it's kind of hard to explain because I guess for everyone going into Blythe, the Ottawa campus has different ideas of what they want from the school, and they get that like it's kind of more of a personalized program, so you get what you ask for. So if I just talk about myself, it might not apply to a lot of people, but I really wanted to get my grades at a higher level, like higher than 80s. I wanted to, get to the 90s, 95s. To that
Mm-hmm.
point, I want to like enrich my abilities in everyday life to have better communication skills, better reasoning, things like that. And the teachers really supported everyone's individual progress, and individual attention was made to that. So definitely, I was going to say something. They definitely helped with, like, it's hard to explain because every person had their own thing.
Hmm.
So
Right.
for me, like I graduated with honors and excellence, and that was a big goal of mine that I wanted to do. And I graduated with, a few scholarships and things like that. And they really helped me get to that point that I didn't think I would be able to get. So I guess that would be kind of like the resume that I would give other people if they wanted to go there.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
That's great. That's great that it's, you can adapt it to your needs specifically. Um, I'm curious if you can talk maybe about the specifics and how they do that. How do teachers or the faculty and staff there, how do they accommodate different people's interests or goals?
Well, I remember when I first went to Blyth just to ask about how the school is. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go there yet or anything, but I went there and I spoke to the counselor first. And the counselor asked me, well, why do you want to go to Blyth? Like, why do you not just want to stay in your Catholic or public school? And I said, well, I really want to work on my class abilities. I want to get my grades up and I want to, go to like a good university with scholarships and things like that. And I think by telling him my needs at the beginning, he was able to already kind of like formulate a plan in his head. And the teachers, once I went to like English class or math class, things that, math class I wasn't really strong at, but they kind of adapted what I wanted. And so when I was learning, like, let's say I was in English class and we're learning about Shakespeare. I don't know a lot of people who are like super excited about Shakespeare, but I remember my teacher was, well, you really want to work on your essay skills. Well, just take the information that you want to learn and I'll help you formulate all this stuff. So they help you with what you need. They ask you, you don't have to be there and be like, hey, this is what I need. They'll make sure that they ask you, like not constantly, but at a good pace, what you want, and they help you along the way with that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Um, if you had to pick one thing, what did you appreciate most about the school?
Probably the sense of community. It was I remember like all the teachers knew the students. Well, we were very small classes, but everyone knew each other, everyone supported each other. There wasn't what I really, really liked is that in a lot of normal high schools, public, Catholic, there's, bullying, there's like little groups like the popular, the not very popular. And I didn't necessarily like that because, well, who likes that? But going into Blythe, we had 67 players who were the hockey players. And I know going to that, I was like, oh boy, like those are going to be the jocks and I'm going to have to like worry about that. But going there, like they'd help me out. I helped them out. There was people from completely different backgrounds and it just made this like beautiful community and everyone talked to each other to a humane level. It was so different and so peaceful all the time. You didn't have to worry and be scared or anything. You felt safe in that environment.
Nice. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Um, what would you say is your proudest memory from the school?
My proudest memory is probably, well, graduating, but probably, I know probably a lot of students say this, but prom. But our prom was different. The whole school were based in Ottawa, but there's different campuses all over Canada. But our prom was focused in Toronto. So it was a nice little trip for everyone. Our whole class went in the same hotel room. We all hung out together. We all went there together. And, our principal was there and she introduced us to other schools. It was nice meeting other schools who do the same thing as us. And we all went there together and it was just a nice finish to the school year. It was just so much fun to conclude the year like that. So,
For sure. Yeah, that sounds nice. Getting a
mhm,
trip, a nice grad trip.
mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm curious. So you mentioned that you went to a different school before. I'm curious what, in your mind, what most differentiates Blythe from other private schools or other schools in general.
Yeah, I don't know much about other private schools, but I know a lot about, the public and Catholic since I've been to both in high school. And honestly, the schooling is one of the major parts that it's so much different. And I know in a lot, I mean, my personal experience in private and public schools, the schooling is kind of for everyone. It's not really like personalized or anything, which is good. A lot of people like that. But for me, who really wanted to really learn and really understand in depth things and be, not just take psychology, but take like Canadian law in high school, not just in university. Blyth offered those options and those different classes, like criminology in high school. There's not a lot of high schools who offer that. And I found that was just like, it was so much fun because I could explore anything that I wanted.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Lots of options for sure.
Oh, yeah.
More options.
Mhm.
And I have a bit of a creative question. If Blythe were to become personified, if you could imagine, the school as a person, um,
Mhm.
what are 3 words that you would use to describe their personality?
Oh, probably as a person, that's hard. Probably an independent person. Probably, yeah, independent, inclusive, and very caring. That'd probably be the main three that I would say.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
good choices. Good
Mhm.
choices. And what would you say are the school's highest values in practice? Like, what does the school stand for?
Hmm. Well, definitely no tolerance to bullying or anything like that. If any, like, I've never seen bullying there in my whole 2 years of being there. But of course it happens, disagreements happens, drama happens. But I remember it always being nipped in the butt right automatically. So that was really great because that doesn't happen a lot. They don't push things under the rug. They deal with it right away, no matter what it is, which was really great. Wait, what was the question again?
What are the school's highest values?
Yeah. So definitely, yeah, not pushing things in the rug. Um, really like including different people. There was some people with parents with a lot of money. There were people with, just a normal background like me. There were people who came from different countries. We had, it was just very, very inclusive, and it made you feel like your own little world. And maybe the safety too. You felt safe going in there. You didn't feel like anyone could just walk in and say things, or it was in a nice area on Richmond Road, which is, little boutiques, cafes. So going like walking to school every day, you didn't feel like you were gonna get, you weren't scared. You were like okay going to school, going for lunch with your friends. It was really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's important for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what is maybe one thing that families would find surprising about the school? Something that they can't know unless they, enroll their kid at the school.
Probably like this is complicated, but the sense of independence your child is going to get, but also the sense of support. So you're not being babied at the school. You're not getting, if I ask a teacher for help, they're not going to do it for me. They'll teach me how to do it myself instead of just being like, well, why don't you know this? It's really like support, and yeah, a lot of support from all the staff, the whole staff, the receptionist, like anyone. You ask them anything, and they will help you. They won't baby you about it. They're gonna let you be independent and help you how to be independent, which prepares you for university or college.
Of course, that's great. Um, what is one thing that you would say is absolutely unique about the school? Whether it's like a course or the way they structure something or a teacher, what's something that's really unique?
Definitely the classes, which, I mean, going in a normal high school, you have English, math, science, and you have that at Blythe. You have those basic needed courses, but you have the like the philosophy or things like that you just wouldn't usually get in other high schools unless you're in university. Also, the teaching. Our classes weren't an hour and a half like in other high schools. They were 2 hours, which is like lectures in university. So it really prepared you for the lifestyle that you were going to get in university. Really like the structure of the school and how they planned everything was
Hmm.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and so you mentioned, that there is a wide variety of different types of students there with different
Mhm.
interests and everything. Um, is there a typical student at the school, or if not, what is one thing that every student has in common there?
Probably so there's not a typical person at that school. I could not put myself in a group and be like, yeah, I'm like everyone else here.
Mm,
Everyone is different. But the only thing that I could say that everyone does have is that they like going to school. I mean, I like going to high school, normal high school. I love school, but a lot of my peers were like, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna go to school today because I don't feel good." But at Blythe, everyone I could see every face every day, and I wasn't used to that. But everyone loved going there. It was a welcoming environment for anyone, and they everyone loved you there.
right. No,
Mhm.
amazing. I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that.
Oh yeah.
um, Now I have a bit of a deep question. How do you think the school shaped who you are as a person today?
The school made me very confident in who I am. Going to the school, I didn't feel like I was very strong in certain aspects, which is either public speaking or mathematics. It could be anything. I just didn't feel like I was a very confident or well-rounded person going into that school. But once I graduated, as as all my other peers, I could see everyone stood up super, super tall, and everyone was happy and confident in themselves. And they shaped me to be able to walk into a university classroom and have to do a presentation in front of 300 people and not want to cry before, not being as nervous, not really having clammy hands, being confident there, speaking proudly, and not, put myself down. So,
Yeah,
mm,
important values for sure and skills.
yeah.
Um, Now, no school is absolutely perfect. I'm curious if there is something that you would like to see improved by this school.
Yeah. So definitely um, the establishment itself, they're moving now, but when I went there, um, I'm a very visual person, and I'm the type of person who needs color or like festivity in a place, like, Christmas tree or things like that. And I found it every time I'd go in, it was like dark colors. We didn't have windows because it was like kind of like in a basement, which, some people loved. But to me, I would want, maybe windows or brighter colors and maybe more than two washrooms, bigger classes, like, I mean, the size of the class, not the quantity of people in the class. Things like that, just a better establishment itself it would be better for me.
Hmm.
But I brought it up with the staff and they were like, well, why don't you do something about it? And I'm like, well, can I? They're like, yeah, you can. I'm like, so for like, let's say autumn, Halloween, they allowed me to bring like pumpkins in and like decorate the main area, decorate some classrooms. And for Christmas, for spring, they let me do that stuff because they knew that I was, it would bring me down, and other students also didn't mind. So that was really great. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that they give you encourage that initiative.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and since graduating, how has your perspective on the school changed? Have you come to appreciate your experience there more? Have you
Oh yeah.
realized certain things?
Well, I still go back to Blythe, even though I'm in university. I still go back to see the staff and the teachers. That's how much they have influenced my like life right now. I've come to appreciate Blythe a lot more. I don't see any of my friends from my old schools go back to their public high school or Catholic high school as much as I do to my Blythe Academy. And I just find there's so much of a connect, and there's still so much appreciation within the students, the staff, everyone there. Everyone still has a huge amount of respect, even though, I might not talk to, my English teacher anymore. So they really, you feel connected to that school even though you're not there anymore. That's how much they shape your life. It's like a second home.
Mm-hmm. That's
Mm-hmm.
nice. Nice. And so I just have a few more questions. Just the next two are more geared towards, prospective families and students. So people who are thinking about attending the school. What advice would you have for a student, entering the school, a new student at the school? What advice would you have for them, to take, full advantage of their time at the school?
Okay. So I remember coming into Blyth, I was a very nervous student because I had been to public and Catholic high schools. So I thought private school, wow, I have to have a certain persona, a certain appearance to mold myself into that school. But once I started to go there, I noticed everyone was not what my idea was of a private school. Everyone was themselves. They didn't, adjust themselves because it's just a private school. And then I realized Blyth Academy molds themselves to you. You as a student don't have to mold yourself to them, which I appreciated so much. And it helped me also grow to become an independent person and not always confine myself to people's idea of certain things. So if this is a student coming into Blyth, I just tell them, honestly, be yourself. Don't be scared. Blyth will accommodate to you, and you don't have to accommodate to them.
Mm-hmm. That's
Mhm.
great. And to a family that's maybe on the fence about enrolling, what are some of the biggest reasons you would give them, to help, make that decision?
Your child will be ready for university or college. Your child will be and feel safe every day. Um, Everyone's included. No one feels like they don't belong in this environment and community. And the staff is always there to help, even if it's a family that needs help to understand certain things, or if the student that needs help with certain things, the staff is always there.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have one last question for you. Um, what is one thing that you learned from your time there, that has helped you in university, or has helped you moving forward, and you think will help you, for the rest of your life?
Probably the ability to adapt myself quickly to different environments. Blyth really, when I came there, it was definitely different than anywhere I've ever been before. And but because it was so welcoming, they taught me how to be able to adapt myself, not change myself, but adapt myself to different environments, different peoples, how to include and accept different people. So going into university, not knowing anyone, I didn't go in a program where my friends went to. I was, alone. Going there, I wasn't scared of sitting in a 400 people classroom beside people that I didn't know. It was like, I'm okay doing my own thing because Blyth taught me that it's okay. You can do your own thing. And if you need help, then you ask the person beside you. It's not that hard.